Hello.
Welcome to episode 87 of the Hipsters United podcast. My name is Chris, and joining me this week are Susan.
Hello.
And Eric.
Hello.
It is literally hours since Eric attended the triumphant return of James Iha to his ancestral shores and his first solo concert performance in, I believe, about 14 years. And normally when we've podcasted about concerts, we have the set list at hand, our guest provides just details about the mood, crowd, etc. But this time I know absolutely nothing about the show. So Eric, why don't you give us a rundown?
You haven't seen the set list yet?
I have not.
Well, you're not missing much. It was 5 whopping songs and a grand total of less than 20 minutes in all. Actually, his set was extremely short.
Was that typical of the other acts, or was that just James? James
seemed a bit shorter than some of the other bands. They did have an on-screen little kind of collection of quotes from other EMI artists with his music playing in the background for about 3 minutes or so before he came on. But once he came on stage, and like between him coming on and getting off of stage was just barely over 16 minutes. So
were they quotes of other artists about James?
Yes, there was a
James is so actually, quiet and mysterious.
I twat this as well, but there's one of the flyers. Pretty much every show you go to in Japan, you get handed a bunch of flyers, either on the way in or on the way out. But this on the way in, we got a bag full of flyers and the program schedule, which they didn't release the timetable of the order of the bands until you got to the arena and were given this packet. It wasn't on the web anywhere, so this morning I was up early waiting for someone who was crazy enough to get there early to get inside and tweet the schedule. Luckily, James wasn't on until about 3. But anyway, one of the flyers in here has like a little ad for the new album on one side, and then the other side is messages to James Iha from EMI artists, and it's got it's about 8 quotes from different people. I think all of them played today. Not entirely sure, but 4 of them are from the same band. But the rest are all. Yeah, it's just little messages about James and to James and whatever.
What did they say? I mean, like,
we remember you and the Pumpkins. Great job, James.
Actually, the first one says, let me read my translation because it's probably will come out better than if I try to read the Japanese and translate in my head. When I was a student, I remember I used to listen to the Smashing Pumpkins a lot with my band friends. James Iha, I'm really looking forward to it. To the new album, obviously. So, yeah, a couple of people mentioned... Actually, wait. I see Smashing Pumpkins on here once, but I'm pretty sure that, Smapan is on here. So one guy mentions his guitar work in Smapan and A Perfect Circle. And then says... Of course I love his guitar in the Smashing Pumpkins in A Perfect Circle, but for me it's his delicate voice and the way his melody sways the words and spirit that I love even more.
What?
I'm looking forward to his new album, and I'm all ready to cry out loud.
Wow.
So someone else is also assuming it's going to be a soothing folk record. I guess that's my first question is, I assume that some of the songs were new songs. I know one of them was not, so
yes.
One song you sent me was a classic James tune from Let It Come Down.
Yes, the first song was indeed the opening track, Be Strong Now, which is kind of funny. Before each artist comes out, they have a little sound clip that they play. It's the same clip for everyone, and then the screen lights up and it shows this dumb little flash animation like thing and says, the next rock will be whatever artist name, and everyone cheers, and then that cut out, and then the lights are all out, and the first thing I hear is doo 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 doo. I'm like, holy shit, it's Be Strong Now, but I didn't see anyone yet, and so I tweet without thinking right away, and then all of a sudden the lights are still down, and I look over on the screen, and it's it's showing these messages to James Iha from all these other people. So that went on for they played about a minute of Be Strong Now, and then they played a couple minutes of a new song, actually. So we got to hear a studio finished version of one of the new songs, or part of one of the new songs, which was Till Next Tuesday. Part of the lyrics were, let's see, don't wake me up till next Tuesday, close the door till it's New Year's Day.
Tuesday and New Year's Day, huh?
Well, it's better than book and cook. So anyway, that happened, and then he came out and actually did play Be Strong Now, so I was like, he is playing it. So the other 4 songs were new songs from the new album, which is not out yet, but will be in another month.
And I did just pull up the set list on SPFC.
Yes.
So you got to hear Speed of Love. Is it a companion piece to Sound of Love?
No, it is. It's really not. Go out to my notes. It's a bit faster, actually, if I can remember right. The whole show is so short. It's like it's hard to have any memory of it because you listen to it and it's like it's over already. So I haven't quite gotten used to it yet. But.
I saw you say on Twitter a ukulele was played by someone.
I'm not entirely sure what it was. It was he had basically a Garfunkel with him. I think it was the same guy that did the backup vocals on his first album. It sounded a lot like him, and I assume that the same guy will also be doing backup vocals on the new album. But yeah, they both had acoustics. There was no drum or bass or anything else. It was just those two. And for the third song, I believe he pulled out a very, very small thing, which looked like a ukulele, but I had 8 strings. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I'm not that...
A mandolin, maybe?
It wasn't shaped like a mandolin. I'm not really sure. I mean, it had the standard ukulele body shape. Just the small acoustic guitar. Didn't have that, like, kind of funky, curvy mandolin shape. But I'm not sure, so... Could have been an 8-string ukulele. I'm not... Let's Google ukulele.
So were they the only band at EMI Rocks that didn't have drums and bass and play loud rock music? Like, was it unusual that they were up there with acoustic guitars?
Actually, the last band before I left, I didn't stay for the entire 9 hours, but the last band that was up was a DJ, so he had no instruments. Yes. There's the schedule. This pile of flyers on my desk. Probably in the other bag. So yes. First up was Baseball Bear, which I did not make it for. They were also on the Linda 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 soundtrack. After that was a band that apparently, according to Time Out Tokyo, used to cover Pumpkin songs, but their set list did not indicate that they did any such covers this time. I imagine with only 4 or 5 songs that they're not going to do that, but let's see. I got there for the 5th band, and then there was one other band, and then James, and then we stayed for one more, and then one song with the DJ, and then left. But, yeah, the first band actually I've heard of them, this guy named Miyavi, who I had heard of as a bassist, but is actually his solo work as a guitarist, and it was basically just him, a looper, and a drummer. And he had a couple of guest artists out, a guy on piano, and then a rapper. It's kind of weird. But very different than what I kind of imagined. It was like kind of like playing slap bass but on a guitar. Yeah, it was. I'm sure there were other bands that were even more differenter, but I did not stick around to see all of them. The other two bands that we did see were pretty standard, guitar, bass, drum, vocal, keyboard maybe.
So it was a pretty eclectic set. It wasn't just rock bands and then James.
Yeah, there was a variety there.
So I'm looking at your
I'm guessing though that James was probably the only act that was entirely acoustic and percussionless.
So it looks like you got some merch here from the. I'm looking at this picture you posted on Twitter. It looks like a T-shirt, and what all did you?
Actually, it's just the only thing they were selling in James's booth were the T-shirts, which picture is that even? I think it's the picture that's on EMI's website, I think.
Yeah, it's the one with the sun. I'm looking at
the really yellow one.
Yeah, the yellow toned one.
Yeah.
Wait, there's something with his signature on it. So what is that? Is that
That's the shirt, actually.
The back of the shirt?
It's actually underneath the picture of him.
Oh, I see.
I've got two shirts, but the fold is right where the signature is, so I just kind of stuck one on top of the other to take the picture. And then the signature is also on the inside of the collar.
Oh, interesting.
Official license products. I don't think that's spelled correctly.
So they weren't selling like the Let It Come Down reissue there? That's out in Japan, isn't it?
Should be, yeah.
Came out last week.
Really curious that they wouldn't be selling that.
I don't think they were selling CDs for anyone. It was just kind of like T-shirts and towels and stuff like that.
So I guess there wasn't much opportunity, but was there any interesting droll James banter between songs?
There was nothing, actually. There was the hello at the beginning and an arigato after the first song, and then at the very end, another arigato and a bow, and that was it.
How did the crowd react? Because this has been one of my sort of questions over this whole time period. Yeah. Like, is he got a rabid fan base there?
It's really hard to tell because, I mean, for the other bands, you could tell that there were a lot of fans of the band in the audience. People are running up to their front with their fingers in the air and jumping up and down. And one band, actually, most of the audience had this little, flag thing that they were waving back and forth. So, obviously, James doesn't have anything like that. And since it's an acoustic show, everyone's pretty quiet.
No one ran to the front with their fingers in the air.
No one was like, "Whoa, yeah!" Yeah, it was a really quiet show. I mean, there was actually one loud "woo" before he came out, between the lights going off and the little messages to James thing on the screen. Everyone clapped, people cheered, and then during the songs it was silent. So I guess everyone liked it. I don't know how many people other than me came just to see James, or primarily just to see James, but
because they're releasing this new album in Japan first, obviously, and now
right.
We know that the plan is to release it later in other places.
He's got at least 8 people from EMI artists left him messages, so he's got to have some impact here.
Yeah.
One of them even mentions Vaporize.
Oh, really? What do they say about Vaporize? That's curious.
You see, this is actually the guy from YMO, I think. Yukihiro Takahashi from Yellow Magic Orchestra, which was, I believe, a really big band here in the 80s. Yes, big band in the 80s. Says, our ages are different, but we have a few similarities. For example, clothing design. I love wearing Vaporize as clothing. I'm still looking forward to the album. I hope everyone enjoys it.
Wow. So, could you heard of, he has this clothing line in Japan, which I didn't even know until the lead up to this album. Did you know about this clothing line, Eric? Was this people would go buy this, or check out James Iha's new Man
There
Capris or for fall 2011? Like, is that something people do in Japan?
There was something in the discography quite a while ago that was Vapor related, I think, before it changed its name. Can't find it now, though. It might have been like a TFL or what was the other? Never Ever?
Never Ever, I think it was.
Is that the one?
I think so.
Never Ever promo. Why couldn't I find that on the discography? Ah, yes. That actually was released on Vapor Dream Music by Beams, which is I believe it's the company that, or the clothing store that sells the stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was from 2001. And, like, even like, late 90s, I think, we had the pictures of James in the fur coat modeling for Anna Sui or whatever. So he's been into the fashion thing for a while.
Well, it's just interesting to me because I sit here trying to figure out, well, he's doing his first show there. The album's coming out first there. They're doing a reissue there. He's done, and I'm like, I have no context for knowing if, like, he's done some movie soundtracks, like, were these, like number one selling
Stuff here.
soundtracks in Japan or something that has, like, kept the name of James Iha alive in Japan, I mean, surely, I say to myself, it can't just be that, like, James Iha is of Japanese descent, so they think, well, he's of Japanese descent, so, we should release it first in Japan. I mean, it has to be... I would think there has to be some greater reason that they would think he has a fan base there. So it's been really something I've been really curious about. But
I really have no idea. I mean, it's not like you go out and you see people wearing, well, any band T-shirts, but James Iha T-shirts. Did they have T-shirts for Let It Come Down?
Not that I know of. I mean, he only played 2 shows and then a few radio appearances.
And so, I don't even see people wearing pumpkin shirts ever.
Yeah, because this is the opposite of what happened for Let It Come Down. Let It Come Down came out in the US and the UK more than 2 months earlier than it came out in Japan.
Mm.
Like, were those movies that he did soundtracks for, were those, like, hit movies, or?
I'm not sure about Luck or what was the other one? Something about the Life one with
Kakera, A Piece of Our Life.
Yeah, Kakera. Really not sure about those, but pretty sure Linda 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 was huge. The song Linda 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 was a really huge song here, like, can't remember if it's 70s or 80s, but can't talk here. It's a song by this band called the Blue Hearts, which were really famous. Like, everybody knows the song. Like, literally everyone in the country knows the song. And when I got here, which apparently was right after this movie came out, like, everyone was singing this song all the time. And I'm not sure if it was because the song has always been popular or that it got a resurgence in popularity because of the movie, but I've seen, like, ads for the movie and commercials and stuff, and I've heard the song all over the place. So, but then again, I mean, the stuff James wrote for that is all instrumental, kind of very mellow, ethereal stuff. So it's not like someone who's a fan of the song Linda 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 is going to be like, yeah, James Iha rocks. It's just not, it's not even the same category of music.
It just seems like if anything, the things that James would be most known for lately, I mean, besides obviously still having been a guitarist in the Smashing Pumpkins, is, his stuff with The Perfect Circle and Tinted Windows. And I'm sure that people in Japan know of those bands, but I don't know why they wouldn't release it in the US first or at the same time. It seems like the awareness of those bands would be just as big here, if not more so.
Yeah, I don't know how the label stuff works. Who decides it?
Well, Tenant Windows played in Japan, right? I don't even know how many other
Yeah.
countries they played, but they did play shows in Japan.
I'm not sure if they played any other countries. Let me check that.
Check the TWFC.
Yeah. Nope, it was all US and then 2 shows in Japan. At least as far as we have in SPFC.
Yeah.
So
And those-
obviously somebody thinks James has some sort of extended appeal in Japan.
Someone must. Or maybe it's that EMI America is not interested in that kind of music or too busy putting out top 40 radio stuff. I don't know.
So what do the new songs sound like? I mean, do they sound just like the stuff from Let It Come Down, from what you could tell? I'm having just listened to them once
Well,
or
it's
twice.
really hard to tell from I can't really say solo acoustic, but a duo acoustic performance with no drums or bass or back tracks or keyboards or anything. You know, it's hard to say. I mean, it certainly sounds like James Iha solo material. It's going to be quite similar, I think, to the first album. There's some different sounding stuff. There was one kind of very bluesy number
That's
that
cool.
I don't think had anything similar to that on Let It Come Down. But I can't say how the album version is going to sound compared to a duo acoustic guitar version.
Well, you heard the so for the Till Next Tuesday song, you actually heard the album, or what you believe to be the album recording, right? So what was that one like? What was the production on that like?
That actually did sound a lot like Let It Come Down, as far as like arrangements and stuff. Yeah, very upbeat, poppy, happy James. Yeah, lots of falsetto again in the new songs, so lots of harmony.
Yeah, from listening to the Be Strong Now version from that was played, sounded like James had a little trouble hitting some of the falsetto parts.
Often a problem when singing live for anyone. Actually, the other guy did too a little bit. A couple of his notes were either off a little or suddenly a little too loud, or
First time out in
like everyone else sings perfectly live.
14 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's played. I should add he has played
He's done the Tom Petty thing and
appearances where he's playing not his own music.
something with Michael Stipe, right? Or was that just production?
He definitely did a song or two with Michael Stipe. I don't know if he did any shows with that.
Right. The Bring 'em Home Now benefit for the Iraq War veterans against the war and Veterans for Peace. It was Michael Stipe, James Ehad, Joseph Arthur, and one of the Phoenix Clan, but no setlist. Oh, he did do a sort of solo show in Japan with Melissa in 2001 that I recently found online.
Did he play like his solo music, or was it Melissa's music or something else?
I think this was around the time when they were talking about making that Virgins band, but I'm not sure. From what I've found, they played 2 songs each, and James's songs were a Whiskey Town cover and then Be Strong Now. I don't know what Melissa played, but this was actually in the Beams clothing store, which is where his Vapor label sells their stuff. So this was like in a clothing store.
That's neat though. I didn't even know James had played Be Strong Now live since 1998.
Yep, it's recent addition to the TH.
So have you seen any like promotional consideration for the new album or for the reissue of Let It Come Down? Like
Physically?
Yeah, like in magazines or on TV or radio or anything.
Too bad I don't really watch TV or listen to the radio or read magazines either. But yeah, I haven't seen any ads on the trains. but then again, usually don't for music stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet other than the stuff on the website and the flyer, obviously, from today.
There's
I
not like
I
a
haven't been to Tower recently, so I mean, it's possible that they have a little display up or something for let it come down and coming soon, look to the sky.
right, 'cause they have like a giveaway with that at Tower.
Right, yeah. The t-shirt contest. Possibly signed t-shirt. And a sticker.
Yes.
Get a sticker when you pick it up.
Will the sticker be
Do they
yellow?
I don't know. Do they do that in the States even? I don't remember ever going to like Virgin or Tower in the States and buying a CD and getting a poster with it or something like that. I think it might be a
I think they used to. I don't know if they do that stuff anymore.
Well, like for the reissues, for example, if you bought it certain places, you got a poster flat, actually, I think, for the Gish and Siamese Dream reissues.
Machina was like that. I remember Machina had lithographs.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they are doing that now just to sort of tempt people to go to the store and buy physical product. If anything, I think it's bigger here now than it was, like 10 years ago or something, but
I think it's more common, though, for there to be exclusive songs. I mean, like we saw with Zeitgeist. Especially on, like, buy it on iTunes and get the iTunes exclusive songs.
And then the Target version and the Best Buy version. And
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's widespread, but I think that's probably more.
Has there been a Walmart version of anything yet? Walmart exclusive track.
The Walmart version has no song titles in the back, and it's the cover is just white, so it can't offend anyone.
It's like the Spinal Tap Black album.
So, like, to your knowledge, they haven't, like, pushed a single from the new album to radio or anything like that at this point?
I really have no idea, but I would say that I kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
But, again, I have no idea. I don't even have a radio. The only time I actually hear the radio is if I go to the local burger place and their radio is on.
Well, that's your assignment, is to get a radio and listen to it nonstop. Let us know. Let us know when James's first single drops.
You can find one of those like internet radio sites that has the now playing feed and just scrape the feed looking for Jamesy.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of exclusive songs, I think there's like 2 songs on the new James album that are supposed to be Japan exclusives.
Tracks.
So
they've announced Japan exclusive bonus tracks, even though it's only coming out in Japan as of right now.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, the last songs are actually say bonus track at the end. So, and then I think later they added a little side note that said the last few tracks are only going to be on the Japanese release. So, ha.
Diamond Eyes and Stay Lost.
Mm-hmm. It's not often we here in Japan get extra stuff. You guys get all the shows. It's our turn now.
It seems like you guys often get bonus tracks, though, on a lot of albums.
A lot of the Japanese releases for even all the Pumpkin stuff have bonus stuff. I mean,
is that like a really well-working marketing ploy? It's like people there really like the idea that they get exclusive stuff.
I'm not sure, because like if you think about it, what came as a bonus track on the Japanese release for Pumpkin stuff? Like on the Today single, you got Apathy's Last Kiss, which was only on vinyl in the States. So that was pretty cool. But then Siamese Dream comes out and you get Pissant
with a different
name as a bonus track, which ends up coming out on Pisces, which also was sold here. So I'm not sure why they did it, and why they decided to rename the song Hikari Express, which is like the name of one of the Shinkansen lines. Bullet Train, sorry, to Osaka. Thank you. I'll be here all night.
Yeah, and then Let It Come Down
Has all the B-sides from the
is it
original.
all of them? Yeah.
Yeah. All 3.
Man, I just really wish I could like talk to some EMI executives about like why they think Japan is. This is still like a mystery to me. You didn't provide any enlightenment, Eric, on why.
Sorry.
No.
I'm too isolated from the Japanese youth culture.
I mean, do you tell people, like, do your Japanese friends, like, know you're really into the Pumpkins, and, like, they're like, oh, yeah, that's the band James Iha was in?
Not really, no. I mean, I was actually a little surprised that the 3 other Pumpkins fans that I know here, who were all webmasters, none of them came to the show today. I did see 2 of them at the Tinted Windows show, though, so I was a little surprised that they didn't make it. But again, like $70 for a 15-minute set probably wouldn't have been worth it.
Yeah, I guess we don't really know if there's any bands out there that are foreign bands that have one American member in them. Like, we really don't have the analog here to compare it to.
Well, James is American. I mean, it's not like he's American. He doesn't even, yeah,
that's the funniest part is he wasn't born in Japan. Like, did he ever live there for any extended period of time?
No, I don't think so. He doesn't, in Euphoria, there's that clip of them playing there, and they're like, you speak Japanese? And he's like,
what? Yeah, but I've seen a couple bands here that have like one American member or like a couple of half Western members or something like that.
So do you think if they released solo albums, they'd release them in the U.S. first?
I'd probably have to say no. Since I don't think there's a big market in the U.S. for music in other languages. I mean, you did have Twiggy Twiggy on the radio back in the mid-90s, but I think that's the only time I've ever heard a Japanese song on the radio in the States. I mean, other than that, what is there? There's La Bamba, Feliz Navidad.
One thing that's occurred to me, though, about why they might be doing this is, this is something that we've talked about in previous HU podcasts, is that, right now, international markets seem to be generally more excited and receptive to what bands have to put out there in some ways. So, like, when the Pumpkins have played in international markets, a lot of times they felt like the shows have been, like, the audiences have been really receptive to what they're doing versus the U.S. audience has been hypercritical and why are you playing new songs and, not really open to what they want to put out there with the experience. And it sounds like, I'm just thinking about if this were like a U.S. show, right? It's a big arena, there's rock bands and DJs, and James comes out there and plays like a 16-minute acoustic set, and in his chill James way. I mean, you've got like 40,000 people in this arena. I think the capacity is like 37,000 or something.
Well, it'd be a little less than that because 37,000 is when you have like all of the stands all the way around. So
right.
You get the stage, and so everything behind the stage is off. So I'd probably say maybe 20,000 or so.
20,000? I mean, I feel like a U.S. audience of 20,000 people in an arena that came out to see a rock festival might not be so receptive to that, right?
Yeah,
and you
sound
would not be quiet during the set. They would be talking to each other. I'm sure people would be yelling and whatever,
Yeah, so I'm just guessing. I mean, I'm just totally speculative here. But, I'm an EMI executive. People in Japan have shown some kind of affinity for James Iha or interest in him since he's, of Japanese descent. And, they're just thinking, well, let's launch it in a market that's maybe friendlier to the type of things James wants to do or more receptive than the U.S., I don't know.
I I mean, they're already doing his album stuff here, so
Yeah.
why not have him play the show too?
Yeah. I don't know. So,
Maybe
I just can't
they've
imagine.
done focus groups. Maybe they know something we don't.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I mean, he says on his website now that he will more tour dates may be coming soon. I'm just really curious to see, where those would be.
Yeah.
I doubt he's going to be playing a big a big main stage rock show here in the US, So,
Yeah, I could see him playing clubs and stuff here.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, he lives in New York, right? Presumably
Yeah.
he'll play
Right.
some shows in New York.
Yeah, I think that's where his studio is.
Stratosphere Sound.
Oh, right. Speaking of which, another one of the messages to James was one of the guys from the Telephones got to use his studio. Said it was very, very comfortable place for musicians to gather.
I just picture a bunch of quotes that are like yearbook quotes, like "Dear James, have a great summer." The guys from whatever.
No, not to have a great summer. That's the death knell. That's the worst thing you can write. One of them actually was kind of yearbooky. It was like, "Oh my God, James is my idol. I can't believe I'm being asked to write a comment for him. It's too great of an honor." And that's it. Write a comment. It's just like, "Oh my God, this is so great that I get to write a comment."
That person is why this album's getting released in Japan first.
That's not even the spaz, is it? Oh wait, no, it is. It's the spazzy guy from the Telephones, which was... Oh no, it's not... Wait. Sorry, I'm trying to read names. Nope, it was the drummer from the Telephones. Sorry. This band, the Telephones, I'd seen open for another show a while back, and the keyboard guy is just enormous spaz. He runs around pulling his shirt up and spazzing out, and he even
While he's playing the keyboard.
in between stuff, he'll run around the stage and jump up and down. And at one point, he took off his shirt and then swung it around like he was gonna throw it out in the crowd, and then let go, and it fell behind him. And then pulls out another shirt and puts that. Enough about
Backup
it.
shirt.
Went from gold sequined to silver sequined.
But he is not the one that idolized James.
No. He did write a comment, though. Something about, I've never met James before, but his music gives me the illusion that he's always been nearby, kind of lived. And I'm usually just saying, fire, fire, and going crazy, stuff like that, but this sound will just wrap you up in it. It's the best.
So James's music can calm even the spazziest person.
Even the spazziest, yep.
It's like a warm sweater.
And it can make you cry.
Well, I just looked up. I'm looking at the Amazon.jp page for Look to the Sky, and it's number 732 in music, and number 14 in rock popular music.
Wow, a lot of pre-orders, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh. I guess that answers your question. He is big in Japan.
And when I look at the Let It Come Down reissue, let's see what it says here. It says it's number 887 in music and 22 in rock popular music. So they're both in the top 30. Now that's just on.
Where are these numbers on the page? I don't see them.
I mean, that's just Amazon sales. I mean, that's not, even total Japanese sales.
Right.
It's on the Look to the Sky Amazon JP page. If you scroll down, it's under registration information. It's in a weird place. It's with the stuff that says who the label is.
Ah, here we go. Under product details. 14 in Ongaku Rock Popular Rock. Bet you can't guess what that means.
Well, thanks for joining us this week. Our closing song tonight is James playing Be Strong Now from, how do you say the name of that city, Eric?
Saitama.
Saitama, Japan.
Today.
On February 19th, 2012.
Not even 8 hours ago.
such a fragile share in a powerful way, and love seems to make her all regret it now. And if she'd only say what's wrong, she can't go on. You've got to be strong now, and if I come and hold you now, you'll be safe and sound. Your face that no one ever sees. You see the thing she believes is life is bittersweet, and she'd open up to me, and it's the only thing she dreams. Gotta believe. You've got to be strong now, and if I come and hold you now, you've got to be strong now. If I hold you now, if I hold you now, if I hold you now. Oh God, if I could change a thing tonight, we won't be lonely. Oh God, if I could change a thing. Why does it have to feel this way? You've got to be strong now, and if I come and hold you now, you've got to be strong now. If I hold you now, if I hold you now.
The Hipsters United podcast is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Smashing Pumpkins, Virgin Records, or Warner Brothers Reprise Records. All opinions offered by panelists or guests of the Hipsters United podcast are their own and do not represent the opinions of the Smashing Pumpkins. All audio during the show is licensed for non-profit use per the terms and conditions on the Live Music Archive at archive.org. Intro music is from the Machina 2 album released for free download on the internet by the Smashing Pumpkins in September of 2000.